what's going on, guys? My name is Ben. How are you guys doing today? What I have for you today in this video is I want to talk about Apple and virtual reality. Now, there was this article that I've read, which the link will be in the description below, where Tim Cook might be onto something when it comes to virtual reality. I mean, he mentioned that it had some very interesting applications in there, and the fact is, it's really cool. Now, we don't know if Apple is going to make this official or not. You know, probably, and if they would, or if they will, it's probably not going to be until like in the next few years or so. I mean, let's face it, Apple is always trying to innovate. I mean, look what happened. They made the iPhones bigger, well, with a much bigger screen, instead of slightly bigger. And not only that, they also added a new category of products into their inventory or their merchandise, such as the Apple Watch. I mean, now they're getting into smartwatches. They've gotten into okay, much bigger tablets, smaller tablets. I mean, basically, Apple is taking off in a way that I think Steve Jobs would never lead Apple into. I mean, face it, the iPad Mini, I don't think he would ever consider that kind of plan. Tim Cook considered it, and a lot of people really like the iPad Mini, therefore people are buying that. And now with the iPad Pro, I don't know how many people are actually buying that tablet, but it's there if somebody needs it. I just don't know if Apple is constantly developing those, because I don't know how often those are going to sell. I mean, I think the iPad Air was already kind of struggling because it was very cool at the beginning, and now people don't see the need to upgrade. But in terms of virtual reality, you know, it looks like what Samsung did with the Gear VR, you know, is really inspiring Apple. And what does this mean for the future of Apple? Well, obviously, they're trying to innovate. Therefore, they're trying to add a new category of products into their merchandise line. Other than that, you know, it seems like Apple's vision has changed. Because before, we were like, I'm sure most of us was like, okay, Apple controls everything. They control the software, and they basically do things their own way. They will not let third-party manufacturers take their operating systems and put it on their own devices. Apple makes the hardware. Apple plans the hardware. They plan the software and make the software as well. They program it. I mean, it's all Apple. I mean, it's not like, okay, Android, you got third-party manufacturers taking Google's Android operating system, putting it onto their own devices, and then add a twist to it. I mean, I got TouchWiz on the Galaxy Note 4 here. You got HTC Sense on HTC products. Then you got stock Android for the Nexus devices. I mean, no. Apple is keeping everything by themselves. And you know what? Their vision has really changed ever since. Because, you know, I never thought that Apple would have actually gone to make a bigger screen. I mean, they did that with the iPhone 5, but that wasn't really a big difference. I mean, increasing it by 0.5 inches, you know, not really the case. And then all of a sudden with the iPhone 6, they made the screen even bigger, and now they added the 6 Plus. I think Steve Jobs might go with the iPhone 6's screen size, but I don't think he would have ever considered the 6 adding the 6 Plus, because you know, his vision was like, nobody's going to buy the Galaxy Note because of the screen size. Nobody wants a big phone. Look at, I want a big phone. I have a big phone. I'm not the only one though. There are tons of people with phablets out there, believe it or not. It doesn't have to be just Samsung's Galaxy Note series. You know, you also have other products out there. Now people bought the 6 Plus. They really like the 6 Plus. It's like Apple's vision has changed. And, you know, if they were to keep going with Steve Jobs' plan, I don't think Apple would keep up with the market. I think they would start falling behind. I don't know if that was Steve Jobs' intention in the first place, but all I can say is, like, you know, whatever Apple is doing, you know, they're getting over there. The only thing is, like, you have to be willing to put up with their software restrictions and the kind of operating system that they've integrated. I mean, I've said it before for those of you guys who have been subscribed to me for a long time. You know, Apple wants everything to work. That's it. And they try to make it as easy as they can for the user. All right. You know, for people that are more on the technical side and likes to play around with the operating system, I mean, that's where Android comes into play. Then, of course, people are like, yeah, but with iOS you can jailbreak, and I get the fact that you can get away with things by just, you know, breaking the code on your device and then hacking into it. But, you know, if you don't have to hack into it, isn't that even better? I mean, that's what I've seen with Android. I mean, I got, you know, my files on here, which is like File Explorer for Windows or Definer for Mac. Whereas, you know, the iPhone, you can't do that unless if you jailbreak it and then download iFile, and then that's how you get access to your files right there. I know that because I used to use a jailbroken phone. Until now, you know, I don't use it very often. So it's like, you know, you could get away with things by jailbreaking, but yeah, then again, there are certain restrictions that you will be limited to, especially if you restore your device back. Because if you want that extra space back, you have to make sure you wipe everything and you don't leave any jailbroken data on there that you can't get access to. And that's restoring to a backup back to normal, but with jailbroken data on it. Because it's going to take up space and you can't use those files at all. You know, that's one thing I don't like about the whole jailbreaking process. I don't know if that's changed now. I'm assuming it didn't. I haven't jailbroken any of my devices for a while. But, you know, other than that, as much as, you know, I'm not so crazy about the iOS operating system, I mean, that's pretty much the only gripe I have. But at the same time, I'm not going to fully slay it, because the way that operating system is made works for everybody else who uses an iPhone. Android works for Android users, and iOS works for iOS users. So it depends on your own taste. Me personally, you know, lately, yeah, while this is my dedicated phone, the Galaxy Note 4, sometimes I'll go back to an iPhone just to use it. That's it. So I like the idea of having two platforms with me, but obviously my most preferred operating system of choice for mobile devices is definitely Android. That's the way to go for me. I mean, I really enjoyed how the operating system works, how much I can do with it. You know, it just made it very convenient for me. And iOS is like, okay, for me, if I don't require to do so many tasks that day on the phone, then the iPhone's the way to go. But most of the time, I'll be using my Galaxy Note 4, and, you know, once in a while, I'll go back to the iPhone for a little bit. And plus, this is my daily phone, so this is the one I make phone calls and text message my people with. My people, friends, family, whatever. So, what do you guys think about this? You know, with Apple going into virtual reality, do you really feel like their vision has changed ever since? Or do you feel like we don't know what Apple's vision really is because we don't know what they're up to? And also, another thing I noticed is, like, you know, I feel like when Apple is trying to drop hints a little bit here and there, I feel like they're making it more noticeable than they did before. Is that something you guys notice? I mean, I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. So leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, rate, comment. Also check out the description below for my social media links, Twitter and Instagram. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.